Welcome to Hello Tangent, the podcast where we talk about movies, TV, video games, comics, and desperately try to stay on topic. I am your host, Clark, aka the Reverend Michael Snakebite, and I am back once again with co-host extraordinaire. I don't know what your official title is at this point.
I'm Garrett.
It's Garrett. We haven't given you a title yet on the show, but
Count.
And we're back now with part 7 of my favorite Star Wars. I believe we're at 7. Yeah, we're at 7.
7.
So we've been dark for about 3 weeks now because we took a little break after getting through the halfway point. And I got a new table.
I like the table.
So a new table. It's a little wobbly though. So like anytime it moves, it makes me feel like I'm like not seasick, but like when you're like inner ear problem. I feel like I'm moving and not the table's moving. So it's really weird. I'm like watching it sway. But enough of that. Yeah, so we are back today, and we are going to talk about what is my dark horse candidate for my favorite Star Wars, probably, and it is Episode 3, Revenge of the Sith. So first off, what we always do is I talk about where it kind of ranks right now in my before we talk about it, where I think it ranks, and then we'll talk about our experiences, our first experiences with this movie, I guess you should say. So, Revenge of the Sith, for me, is a top 3 Star Wars movie. Easy. I know it's in the top 3.
Yeah, same with me. It's literally my number 2, or maybe my number 3, because I'm wishy-washy. But
yeah, depending on the day for me, like, I want to be all, like, I don't know, more professional film critique. And, like, I want to say that Empire is like the best movie because everyone kind of generally considers it's the best movie because it's the best shot, probably the best acted, directed, written, all of that probably. But the fun side of me wants Revenge of the Sith to be my favorite movie.
Yeah.
And then nostalgic kid me wants Return of the Jedi to be my favorite Star Wars movie. So it's always like a match between the 3 of those. And then like modern old practical Clark thinks Rogue One deserves to be thrown in there. So this is where it gets really tough for me because we've talked about Rogue One, Return of the Jedi, and Empire Strikes Back. I did that with 3 different hosts. So it's going to be interesting to talk about Revenge of the Sith because I've kind of already put those on a pedestal of like, well, those are the 3 best movies. Yeah. Those got to be my favorite. And then this movie comes in and I totally forget that this is just the most fun movie of the entire series.
Yeah. It has like the adventure of Empire, like the adventurous side of Empire, but I mean the story's pretty decent. I mean compared to like the original prequel films, or where the acting kind of sucks. The acting in this one is not bad.
Yeah, it's still got its moments of writing kind of me, but
and it's the overall arc of the whole entire franchise is in this film. So
yeah, and it is, I guess, the linchpin. It's the movie that kind of seals it all together, especially of the original 6 vision that was George Lucas's vision. So this movie, like I said, it was very exciting for me to get to watch this movie for the first time. And like the other prequels, I did see this in theaters. But it was very surreal for me because I had a book that was like a behind the films book on the original trilogy that I got in like the late 90s when I was getting into Star Wars and the special editions came out and everything. And this book talked about how Vader was scarred because he fell into lava and on this planet and everything. And I was like, I want to see that story. That sounds awesome. And it was during a duel with Obi-Wan. I'm like, that's really cool. And none of the movies, not even Phantom Menace had come out yet. So,
oh really?
Yeah, this is pre-Phantom Menace. So it was already planned. Like that was how Vader got scarred. That was already written. And so I thought, man, I cannot wait to see that. And then when the prequels came out, the second Phantom Menace was announced. I was like, I cannot wait to see whatever the 3rd movie is going to be.
Yeah.
So I was super excited to see this movie, and I was very pleased with it in theaters. And this probably remains to this day the Star Wars movie I've seen the most times, I think.
It's probably the most I've seen. I'd definitely say as a kid, I watched this one the most out of all of them. It'd be like this and A New Hope is what I watched the most. But like when I throw on a movie, it's one of the top 3 I throw on just because it's a fun movie and you can just have it on. But this was the first Star Wars movie I saw in theaters. Like I was old enough where
Mm.
like I could kind of be like, oh yeah, let's go to the movie and watch Star Wars. And I remember like not I don't remember a lot, but I do remember being like, oh holy fucking shit, I'm
Yeah.
about to see a Star Wars movie. And it was great. As a kid, I loved it. Um, the thing about this though is when I was growing up, before like how movies are like really tightly, knit now, like you can't like you won't find anything about a movie really until you go see it. Like there's always spoilers and stuff like that, but really they keep it like locked down, especially like the Star Wars movies now. Um, but when I was a kid, I pretty much already knew the ending to the movie because the Revenge of the Sith video game came out before the movie.
Yeah.
And I played it and beat it. And
I can throw a side note into this. The Lego
the Lego one
Star
too.
Wars game. I had not seen General Grievous, and I had no clue who he was and all that stuff.
I was very confused by it, but I was like, this is sweet.
When I saw the game, I was like, "What is that?" And then it ended up being General Grievous. But I was watching a friend play it. I was over at like a house party thing, and someone I always partied with other fellow gamers and stuff, so it was not uncommon just to come in and someone be on the Xbox or something like that.
Yeah.
And someone was playing Lego Star Wars, and I was like,
what the fuck
"What the hell is
that?
that
What
for?"
are you doing?
Metal Free. Who is that? I was like, "I don't know that. I know Star Wars, and that's came to be General Grievous." All right. Well, let's do the facts first, as we normally do. Get this out of the way. Star Wars Episode 3, Revenge of the Sith, came out in 2005. It was directed by George Lucas. It was written by George Lucas. And it stars Ewan McGregor, Natalie Portman, Hayden Christensen, my personal favorite, as always, Ian McDiarmid, and Samuel L. Jackson. We'll go ahead and throw some Frank Oz in there since he's kind of important too as voice actor for Yoda. But that's your top build cast. We won't get into everything else. Christopher Lee comes back for a short stop in. And also you have Jimmy Smits, who I pointed out earlier. I will not forget his name ever again. I'm sorry, Jimmy Smits.
He saw the last one. He's pissed.
Yeah, he did. All right. So the basic plot of this is, I'll just read it straight from IMDb. 3 years into the Clone Wars, the Jedi rescue Palpatine from Count Dooku as Obi-Wan pursues a new threat. Anakin acts as a double agent between the Jedi Council and Palpatine and is lured into a sinister plan to rule the galaxy. That is probably the best sum up ever. Yeah, that's that movie. That's the whole movie right there. Like I said, I did see this in theaters in 2005, and like I said, the entire experience was surreal. That I was finally getting to see all the things that I wanted to see. And before we get into the plot, a couple things I want to point out, just observations about this movie as a whole, is this movie is another one similar to Empire where it feels way longer than its actual runtime. It is actually, I think, only like the 5th or 6th longest Star Wars movie, which is not long, but it's 2 hours and 20 minutes. But with the sequel trilogy, is all of them are I think they're all the longest Star Wars movies. The original trilogy being the shortest ones. And so this one is probably the 4th or 5th longest Star Wars movie. And it's crazy because there is so much going on in this movie. Like,
there's a lot. And they managed it pretty well in this one. Compared to like the newer films where they didn't I feel like they didn't, like Rise of Skywalker, it was a long movie, but they did so much, but like they didn't manage time well, I don't think, in that movie. So like it's a lot of cut here, cut there, cut here. Where this one, I mean, it flows like real nice, and there's a lot going on the whole time.
The changes in this movie, I think it's because everything is bite size, and you never get bored of a scene too long.
No.
In Empire Strikes Back, my biggest complaint with Empire, as good a movie as it is that scenes overstay their welcome. Yeah. Like the scene, like when they're in the asteroid, or inside the creature that's inside the asteroid where they're hiding from the Empire. That scene is it's painful. The Dagobah scenes drag on. I mean, it's hard to explain, but Empire seems really, really long because all of its scenes are really, really long takes. In this movie, everything is like bite-sized, 3 to 5 minutes. It's like listening to the radio.
There's actually like a 4-hour cut of this movie where they did it like Empire, like where all the scenes are longer, and they add.
I don't know if I could take it.
Like a whole hour is them on Grievous's ship.
Oh, yeah, climbing that elevator
Yeah.
shaft for an hour. It's in real time.
Yeah.
So yeah, this movie, like I said, it's like listening to the radio. You've got 3 to 5 minute scenes, and then it cuts and goes to your next scene, and it bounces around, and it's just covering so much ground. And I think one of my complaints when I first saw this movie, and we'll get into it more when we talk about the plot, is that I felt like everything was rushed. By the time it was over, I was like, how did he get from here to here? Like
Yeah.
Anakin's arc, it doesn't seem like, granted, they did lead us into it a little bit in episode 2,
Mm-hmm.
but really, he goes from poster boy to like biggest evil in the galaxy
Yeah.
in 2 hours and 20 minutes. And I just felt like nobody in real life would flip, like,
Just like
yeah,
that.
would flip like that. I don't know. Maybe I would, but you know what I mean? It just,
It's hard. It's hard because from like episode 2 to episode 3, there's like a real big gap there too, to where they kind of with like the TV shows and even with the this movie came out right after the 2003 animated Clone Wars, which originally came out just to sell action figures, and then they actually turned it into something. There's some stuff in there where you can Anakin's turn and stuff like that. But if you're just watching straight like live action films, yeah, it's like a light switch.
yeah. I don't also, speaking of the Clone Wars, like I said, by the description of the movie, it says it's 3 years into the Clone Wars.
Yeah.
But when you watch the Clone Wars TV show, these guys have so much experience.
Yeah.
I mean, like they're generals of armies leading campaigns on planets. But then when you see this movie, they don't trust Anakin to lead a campaign with an army. And it's very disjointed. I won't get into plot continuity yet, but it is strange for me to think that this movie.
They act like the war's been going on like 10 years. Too.
Yeah.
They act like it's been forever.
Even the look of his maturity has changed. Like his hair's like they look more matured and everything. Like it's just very odd. It's a big switch. Yeah, he looks like a grizzled like vet of a. It's like, man, y'all squeezed a lot into 3 years if that's what it is. So I think that if they did this in retrospective, they would have made it a few more years. I think of war. Maybe 5 is a safer bet.
Yeah.
Oh, well. All right. Let's get into the plot. So here we go. We're 3 years into the Clone Wars, and we start off where what I said was my favorite space battle. We've actually talked about this before, and I think you disagreed with me, but I don't remember what you said your favorite was.
I don't remember.
But we start out after the opening crawl basically fills us in that that Emperor Palpatine, Senator Chancellor Palpatine, has been kidnapped by General Grievous, and there's a plot where apparently they, there's actually a lot of lore that goes into this in the novels where they talk about they used like hidden hyperspace lanes that were like through the core or whatever, through the galaxy core or whatever, and they're like these dark lanes or whatever, and they basically surprise.
They surprise attack Coruscant.
Yeah, they surprise attack Coruscant, and the goal being to kidnap Chancellor Palpatine. And obviously Dooku and Grievous are the leaders behind this. General Grievous, who we finally see, is the leader of the CIS Navy, basically all of the military forces, essentially. And he reports only to Dooku. So this is where we start. There's a crazy naval battle going on above Coruscant. This is my favorite space battle in the entire series.
It's a pretty good space battle. I take back what I said.
It looks really good still. Say what you want about the CG. This whole scene looks incredible to me. I love the close-ups of like the big naval cannons going off. It's cool to see the broadsides.
All the space action in this scene. After like watching it the other day, it's just good, and everyone flying through the air, and then I really like the scene with the buzz droids.
Yeah, I was gonna say that some people might think that's dumb or kiddie, but I actually like the use of buzz droids as a weapon. Like it's very much in line with what these clans that have bonded together as a confederation, like putting all their weapons and all their military like resources together. It's very it just feels right for a droid army to use something like that.
To have a droid shoot droids.
Yeah, and those droids' entire purpose be to basically they know that the planes or the starfighters they're fighting against have human pilots. Therefore, they disable the ship, and the pilot dies. Like that's the whole goal of these things is to disable the ship. I mean, I guess they would work on a droid ship too because they just got to disable it. So it's just an interesting weapon, and it's something. It adds a different dynamic than just shooting lasers at each other. So Anakin and Obi-Wan, who we are following, basically as they're flying through the middle of this space battle to get to General Grievous's flagship, which is called the Invisible Hand. I don't think they might mention it in the opening crawl.
Yeah, I think it's in the crawl, but they don't actually.
They never say it.
Yeah,
but pretty awesome name for a flagship because the Invisible Hand is basically Palpatine.
Yeah.
So the guy pulling all the strings. So they get to his ship, and like you said, all this action is just really cool. Even how they kind of come into the hangar deck as the blast doors are closing and everything, and they come jumping out of the starfighter's lightsaber
Obi-Wan
swinging.
Does a sweet flip, and then Anakin's just
climbs out.
Bullshit.
I think I pulled something.
3 years of this.
Yeah. So they come out, and battling ensues, and they leave R2 behind in the hangar, right?
Yeah, he's controlling the elevators.
Yeah, and they are going up to General Grievous's, I guess, the command deck, the deck of the ship. So, and they go through all this stuff, and then they get captured by this little weird ray beam thing.
Well, that was after they.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
No.
You're skipping. You're jumping.
No, that's before.
No, it's not.
That's how they get to his. Because they take him there.
No, you're jumping.
Okay, correct me.
So, let me tell you. So, all right. So they had just cleared out the hangar bay. They give R2 a comm link. They're like, "We need you to stay here and control the elevator." While we go get Palpatine. Almost said Sith.
I do know. Sorry.
Yeah, there you go.
It just clicked.
And so they get in the elevator, and they're heading up. And then while they're in the elevator, two B2 battle droids, super battle droids, come down. And I don't know why they were like, "Hey, you guys go check out the ships," but they come down to investigate the ships. And so R2 has to stop and hide. And the elevator stops, and it's more like a lot of hijinks and stuff like that, where it's like they cut a hole in the elevator, and Anakin's like, "Well, I'm gonna keep going," and because he's in a rush, and they got to make their way to Palpatine. So they make their way to Palpatine before they get caught in the ray shields.
Yeah,
and that's where the battle with Dooku starts.
So Dooku versus Obi-Wan and Anakin Part 2. Also, at this point, I understand sending 2 Jedi on that daring mission to do it, but you'd think... So the Jedi strike team they send to save Obi-Wan, Padme, and Anakin on Geonosis is like 20 Jedi.
Yeah.
The senator, the leader of the Republic on Coruscant gets kidnapped, and they send the same 2 that lost to Dooku 3 years before.
Well, I also like how... they're like, they walk in, they see Palpatine is in a chair, cuffed down, and he's pretty much just watching the battle go on. And then Count Dooku, comes out of the shadows pretty much. And Palpatine's like, "Be careful, he's a Sith Lord." And Obi-Wan looks at him and goes, "Chancellor, Sith Lords are our specialty." Like, not really, buddy.
Speciality is how he's especially British.
Yeah, but not really, because Darth Maul lived.
Yeah.
Dooku fucked me up last time.
Yeah, definitive win.
Yeah. Your master died fighting fucking a Sith apprentice.
Yeah. Not to mention that is the first contact anyone's had with the Sith.
Yeah.
Any Jedi's had contact with the Sith.
But out of all of them, they're the only ones who go deal with the Sith. So, I mean, it makes kind of sense, So,
yeah. I mean, granted, you learn a little more in the Clone Wars TV show, but generally... all Jedi have 0 experience dealing with Sith.
Yeah.
Because they've never been around.
But it's also explained that Jedi I think it says it in the crawl, the Jedi are, spread out. They're fighting wars all over the galaxy. So
yeah,
I understand why they're like, "Oh, we couldn't send 5 Jedi to go rescue him," because that probably should have been the plan.
But you can send 4 to go arrest him later.
Okay, fair point.
Uh,
The war was over. No, it wasn't.
No, it wasn't.
Yeah, you're right. Okay, all right.
So I'm just saying they're there.
Yeah. Yeah, they're like, you guys go deal with this. We're gonna hang out and talk about stuff.
2 can get in easier than 5.
I guess. Yeah. Yeah, I guess. Yeah. Well,
Uh,
so they start fighting Dooku, which is actually a pretty cool battle. Before it's, they say it in the novelization. Before the battle actually happened, Sidious told Dooku, kill Obi-Wan, and that's gonna make Anakin like light switch. He's gonna, turn to the dark side, and I won't let him kill you. And we should have, like, if you know anything about the Sith, you should have been like, that's bullshit.
yeah. I'm feeling like Dooku, aka Darth Tyrannus, didn't get the full rundown of the Sith, like the rule of 2. I don't think Sidious ever told him.
Yeah, he probably didn't.
Well,
explain
no,
it.
he has to have told him because he gets Asajj Ventress as his own.
Oh yeah, he does.
So we gotta. Well, that's post.
I think he was. Yeah, they're all fucking lying
Yeah.
to each other.
Yeah,
He's
they
probably
are.
like, I'm gonna kill you after I fight Anakin.
Or he thinks
But-
he can generally take him again because he's
Yeah.
like, I beat him once, I'll beat
Yeah.
him again.
So but Dooku incapacitates Obi-Wan, knocks him out
Again.
and pretty much fuels Anakin's hatred. And he's telling him, he's like, use your anger. And Anakin unarms him in like the most brutal way possible.
Literally.
Yeah, he cuts off both his arms.
Yeah, both is at the wrists. Like,
Yeah.
it's a cool move.
I wouldn't want to like live after that. I'd be like, yo, just do it.
It's a pretty cool move, honestly. But
Yeah.
yeah, it takes both hands off and then catches his lightsaber. So now he's got 2.
Yeah, they're in a saber lock, and he just grabs his hands,
Yeah,
and chops,
cuts
him.
across and
Yeah.
she takes it. Now he has a lightsaber.
Yeah.
And now he's got him scissor style around Dooku's neck.
And this is right where we see Anakin kind of uses hatred, versus like the Sand People and stuff. Like the first time in this film, where Palpatine convinces him to kill Dooku, and he's conflicted. He's like, no, I shouldn't do it. It's not the Jedi way.
Now, does Palpatine actually say to him he's too dangerous to be left alive?
Yes,
That's what I thought, because that line comes in.
it comes back.
Comes
yeah.
back. So.
Mhm. And so Anakin kills him, and then he immediately is like, I shouldn't have done that. And then I love this next part because to me it's fucking hilarious. He goes, I can't remember, for some reason I can't remember. I'm pretty sure it's right here. I can't remember if it's here, if it's later on in the movie, but Anakin's like, I shouldn't have done that. And he was like, oh, it was only natural. He's like, he took your arm, you wanted revenge. And he's like, oh, okay, sorry. What I'm thinking about does come back later. But he's like, he took your arm, you wanted revenge, So, but
So now at this point, he tells him to leave Obi-Wan too.
yeah, he like starts heading for the door, trying to like not like. I feel like because his plan kind of went weary, he was just like, maybe if I just walk to the door real fast,
he won't notice
follow.
him. He won't notice.
Yeah, he won't notice Obi-Wan laying over there.
And so
but Anakin tells him, he's like, leave him or we'll never make it. And Anakin's like, his faith will be the same as ours.
which is also true.
Which is also true. And also, one thing I find funny about this scene is Anakin kills everybody in that room.
He does.
At one point in time, everybody in that room gets murdered by that dude.
Yeah.
Which is ironic.
wonder if we went back how many rooms he goes into, or that's a thing.
Or he kills everybody in the room.
Yeah. Oh man, never thought about that.
But yep, and then they're pretty much just trying to get off the ship, which I don't know what their plan was. I guess it was to get to the escape pods.
I'm assuming so,
Yeah.
because we do see those take off once
Yeah.
the whole ship is disabled.
But this is when they're back in the elevator shaft, and the battle is still going on outside. And I feel like you'd make it a point, like, don't shoot on the ship that the Chancellor and the Jedi are in, but they're just lighting it up.
Yeah, they are.
And it loses its gravity and it starts falling. They're in the elevator shaft, and so they have to like start running down the elevator shaft. And then when they stabilize, and I love that whole scene too, where General Grievous is like, telling everybody what to do. they're like stabilizing, and but then they're hanging in the so when they stabilize, they're hanging in the elevator shaft. And I like the whole part where they're like, R2, cut the elevators off, cut the elevators off, and he just can't do it in time, so they gotta let go. And Obi-Wan wakes up in the elevator shaft.
Oh yeah, he doesn't.
And,
He's like, oh,
And then this is kind of a continuity error in my opinion, but when they're falling down the elevator shaft and they use like this little cable they got, it's like the size of dental floss,
oh yeah.
to lasso and hook and swing through the doors. I would have broke your motherfucking back.
Yeah.
Your arms would be pulled out of their sockets.
They actually tested that on MythBusters.
Did they?
They did, because in A New Hope, when Luke does the exact
when he
has
does
the
the
same
swing?
cable,
Yeah.
and he swings holding
Holding Leia.
holding Leia, swinging across that thing. They actually I can't remember which actress it was that came on the show, but they got an actress to come on, and Jamie from MythBusters put the belt on, had the cable on, held the girl, and swung across, and he groans in pain the whole way across.
Really?
Because it's so much on his like pelvis
yeah.
and like his hips, and like he's like, oh, like the whole swing, and he's just like, yeah, I guess it's it can't be done. And he was only like a few inches off the ground, like so he could touch the ground if he needed to save his spine. Like that's so yeah, it's the tech is cool looking, but it's probably not very useful in real life.
No, it's great. And then this is where they get trapped in the ray shields and they're running down the hallway.
Yeah.
So
I skipped way ahead.
Yeah, you skipped way ahead. But they get trapped in the ray shields, and I never really understood this scene. I do like it though, where he's like, "How can this happen? We're smarter than this."
Yeah.
And then he's like, "R2 will be along shortly." I feel like something else was supposed to happen there, and then they just kind of cut it.
I think maybe, or my other theory on that is that it's an actual kind of wink to the audience of plot armor stuff. Like,
oh yeah,
it's like we need them to get to Grievous somehow. How we're gonna do it? And it's like, just have them get randomly captured. And I think that was the whole thing. And they just threw the line in there of like, we're smarter than this, as a nod of being like, oh, how dumb of how dumb of him to get caught, like, because it is kind of just like
it's very funny. Where it's just running down the hallway, then bloop.
It's one of those convenient inconveniences.
Yeah.
So that's why I think they put it in there.
And then all these droids show up out of nowhere, and R2 comes screeching through the halls. But and then they take him to Grievous. I don't like Grievous.
You don't like the character at all, or how?
I don't like him in this movie just because like he's supposed to be so much cooler.
Yeah.
And then
I think they downplay him a little, and they make him. Mm-hmm. I won't say they make him more of a coward. I think he does have certain, like, I think he has a plan that he wants to follow.
I don't see if Grievous is supposed to be like this big bad dude. And in the 2003 Clone Wars, he is.
He's terrifying,
psycho killer. And then I think the whole thing is Mace Windu crushes his lungs or whatever, so he can't, like, he's hunched and he's coughing a lot and he can't move around as well. He fights Obi-Wan later in the movie, so like, why couldn't he fight him there too? Like he runs and he doesn't even pull out his lightsabers. He just shows him, like, he just like flashes them. He's like, yo, look at all my sabers.
I like I said, and once again, I want to take like a military approach to that and say that I don't think they were trying to make him look like a coward, because like you said, in Clone Wars, he's absolutely terrifying.
Yeah.
And but I think what it is there's a battle going on. He is the ultimate military leader of the CIS, and I think his priority was to get the Navy out of there before Pride. Because when we see the showdown between Obi-Wan and Grievous on Utapau,
he's the leader by then.
He's got all his groups there, and he says, "I'll do this myself." So Pride does actually get the better of him, and at that point, he doesn't really have anything to lose. Like it's a pitched battle going on. He's not like, it's not like eggs are all in one basket kind of situation, and he still thinks even then he can run away if he needs to. But in this situation, they've just pulled a surprise attack with their Navy on literally the home world or the center of the government you're attacking. Like, you are as far away from help as you're going to get. And I think militarily, him getting as much of the Navy out of there was priority to fighting 2 Jedi and doing it for Pride reasons. I don't think he had that time or as a luxury really to spare. So that's how I'm gonna chalk it up there.
But they bring him to Grievous, and they pretty much just shit talk at each other. You know, like, oh, you're taller. Or he's like, you're shorter than I expected.
Mm-hmm.
And then they pull like the most botched, like, well, let's get out of this by just grabbing our lightsabers and just start going to town.
Mm-hmm.
And then the Magna Guards are really cool though.
They are really cool. The first time we see them light up their staffs and do spinny things, which is cool with them because it's like that's a, you know, I mean, that is a martial art to be able to use a weapon like a bow staff or a yari or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
But with these, like I always want to call them manga guards or magna guards. I always get it mixed up. They're like wrist rotate like 360 degrees, so they can just spin it.
There's no talent.
Yeah, they don't have to like do flashy things with it. They just can just spin it and move it. So it's kind of, I just think that's kind of funny that a droid is using that as a weapon. I mean, it's effective, I guess.
Oh yeah. You want to take over from here?
Yeah. So like you said, a common Jedi tactic that we see throughout the series of them just grabbing lightsabers in the middle of a crowded room and going to town. I don't know why that's the Jedi way, but going in solo or in pairs, putting yourself completely outnumbered and surrounded and just start hacking away seems to be the Jedi like foremost tactic. They must teach that in the temple. So they start hacking away, and Grievous basically throws one of those Magna Guard spears at the glass.
Yeah, he breaks the front glass.
I want to call it a windshield, but breaks the glass to depressurize the cabin. So he gets sucked out and grabs onto the side of the ship and eventually makes his way to an escape pod, and he's peacing out. All that didn't get sucked out into space, which is our heroes and Palpatine, they are now trying to basically the ship repressurizes or whatever, and now they are crashing into the atmosphere of Coruscant. So ship's going down, and by the way, the Republic is still firing on it.
Yeah.
This whole time they're bombarding they're broadsiding the shit out of this thing. So it's going down. Anakin is the only qualified pilot, I guess, to land this huge flagship. And so he's trying to land it. The ship actually breaks in two, and we get the famous line of, well, we're still flying half a ship. And now we've got a big fireball as it's re-entering the atmosphere, and Anakin's trying to level it out so that they can land this half a ship on some airfield that's conveniently right by like right where they need to be, because we'll get to that.
Mm-hmm.
But he makes it to this airfield. I also want to point out as a side note that the year before, in 2004, the Space Shuttle Columbia burned up upon reentry, and the special effects guys used that footage to actually study and make this whole scene.
Really?
Yeah, the reentry scene, they literally did it based off of footage of Columbia of how much of a fireball would be trailing behind it and everything.
Dang.
So I thought that was kind of an interesting side note.
That's sweet.
So they're crashing, and Anakin levels it out. You get these cool fire ships that are putting water on it to try to cool it off and put it out as it's landing. And he basically does a rough crash landing onto this airfield. And then he's like, oh, cool. And they steps out the driver's side door, and there's Padme. So that's why I think it was so convenient. That, she's right there. How did he land?
Well, no, they get on another ship and they go to the Senate.
I guess they get on that little tram thing. I forgot that. So maybe they rode the.
Yeah, I just like how there's they get off the ship, and it's after that I'd want to break. I'd be calling her to be like, hey, I know I haven't seen you in a couple months, but I'm going fucking home.
Yeah. I'm taking a shower.
Yeah.
Yeah, they don't get that though. They need immediate debriefing. And this is also where Obi-Wan kind of gives Anakin a pat on the back, and it's just you're the hero today. You know, you saved Palpatine, you beat Dooku, you saved Palpatine, you did it all. You saved us all with me on your back, out cold. He's you're the hero today, so you get all the glory. Once again, knowing that the Clone Wars TV show hasn't come out yet and is in the future, so we don't see him as this grizzled war hero yet. But this is I guess a nod to him getting the glory finally and trying to prove himself to the Jedi Council.
Mm-hmm.
So he gets to get accolades and all that stuff. And before he goes and sees the Jedi Council, he runs into Padme, and we get to catch up with them where she drops the bomb on him that, yo, I'm preggers. So, Yeah, that's the thing now in his life.
Mhm.
And there's some more cringy Padme Anakin dialogue
Oh
in this
yeah,
scene.
yeah.
It's never really
Well,
good.
she's like, I have amazing news, and then he's like, what? And she's like, I'm pregnant, and he's like, that's wonderful.
Yeah.
And then she's like, and then she immediately goes, what if the Jedi find out?
Yeah.
And he's like, nah, fuck it.
No. It's not like they can search feelings and
It's not like they can steal children and
yeah.
make them grow up in a war-torn world.
It's not
galaxy.
like it's not like they're drawn to force sensitives,
Yeah.
which you're bound to be because you're his offspring.
Yeah.
So we get that news, and then moving forward, Anakin goes before the Jedi Council, and hopefully I'm not doing this out of order, but Palpatine has specifically requested him to be his like liaison to the Jedi.
Mm-hmm.
So he wants Anakin to be his personal like messenger from the council to him, and yeah, basically that, and basically want to make him a master, Jedi master, and a member of the council.
Mm-hmm.
So they talk it over, and they say hell no, and basically slap Anakin in the face and say, you'll sit on the council because he wants you to, but you're not a master.
And and he overreacts by that, in my opinion, because he's a super young dude
and speaks up. I mean, if it's 3 years in the Clone Wars, we have to assume he's 19 or 20 at this point.
Yeah.
Like not even 21. Like I always, for the longest time, I watched this movie with the mindset that he's like 25. But no, if you actually go by the timeline, he's only like 20.
Yeah.
It's insane.
And he gets very like disrespect. Like he finds a lot of disrespect in that, telling him that he's on the council, but he's not going to be a master. But Obi-Wan has to be like, dude, you're the youngest on the council. He's like, you're the best Jedi. Like we can't just throw you, make you a master though. Like, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And so, and then they kind of drop the ball on him, and he's like, we want you to spy on Palpatine.
Yeah, so they twist this whole thing.
Yeah.
And now they're asking him, they're like, the only reason we let you do this is because we want you to spy on him for us.
Yeah.
And he's actually been kind of mentored by Palpatine.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, literally, we see in episode 1 where Palpatine says, we're going to watch your career with great interest. All that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
He's really has kind of been a mentor to him. So they're asking him to basically betray a friend.
Yeah.
You know, not that we see now the divide between the Jedi and the politicians, that they're not getting along.
Mm-hmm.
And they don't trust each other for good reason. And so Anakin being one of the few people that actually like gets along with him, it seems like a no-brainer, but now you're asking him to do his job and what he's committed his life to versus one of the only people other than Obi-Wan and Padme that he really is close to. I mean, other than 2 droids. He's not even really close with 3PO. He just built him and then he abandoned him.
Sees him every couple months.
Yeah. So, I mean, yeah, and really a father figure that he didn't have.
Yeah.
Because he never had a father. So, I mean, that's a lot going on. And there's so much of this where Anakin's conflict is literally thrust upon him. Like he was literally a time bomb from the second Qui-Gon finds him. He's a time bomb.
I can't remember what happens from there. So I think what happens from there?
So at that point, they ask him to spy on him, and he kind of doesn't like him. And first off, Mace Windu's a jerk in this. He's whole
jerking
movie.
all of them.
he's the most outspoken in the council that says you're not a master, yada 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 blank. And then Ki-Adi-Mundi like via hologram is kind of in there like I concur.
Yeah,
and
I like how none of them like say nothing else. It's just Yoda and Mace Windu pretty much calling all the shots, and everybody else being like, okay.
Yeah. Also, in that council meeting, we didn't mention that they think they've narrowed down where they think Grievous is ran to, and they want to send someone out there to hunt him down. And Anakin tells them, or is this after this thing?
I think
it says jump ahead a little. Sorry. So I'll do the other scene first, and then we'll come back to it. What happens after that is he goes to the play or whatever this entertainment thing is, and that Palpatine's watching with his little cronies.
Mm-hmm.
So he's sitting there watching this weird bubble alien dance thing. I guess it's their version of some kind of ballet, or
I guess I wouldn't want to sit there and watch that shit.
There's no music playing, so I don't think it's opera or something. But it's weird, and it's kind of mesmerizing. I don't know, but Anakin comes in there, and basically to relay whatever messages that the council wants, and Palpatine basically tells all his little his whole crew to get out and
Yeah.
leave him alone with him. So they all leave, and now it's just Anakin and him watching this weird sphere with aliens dancing around it, uh, and this is where basically Palpatine knows everything. So
Yeah, he pretty much he tells him, he's like, they asked you to spy on me, didn't they?
yeah, straight up doesn't
Yeah.
even beat around the bush. Tells him he's like they're asking you to do things wrong, betray friend, and he's pushing him more and more, saying the Jedi are wrong, the Jedi don't trust me, the Jedi are corrupt. I think they're planning on betraying me. He's using words to make him look like the victim.
Yeah.
And that's basically what it is doing, is planting the seeds in Anakin's mind that he's the victim here, and that I've been the only one that's been like a father to you, and I've always given you good advice, and they're actively trying to destroy me. And
yeah, it's also at this point Anakin has been having more bad dreams, but instead of his mother, they're about Padme this time.
yeah,
And he doesn't want the same thing to happen. And so during this, conversation between them, Palpatine pretty much, he's like, oh, you ever heard this old Sith legend about this guy
the tragedy of Darth Plagueis the Wise,
who was Sidious's master, Palpatine's master, and he tells him, because Palpatine knows everything going on, he tells him he's like he could stop the ones he cared about from dying, and then
said he is so wise and powerful with the Force that he could even influence the midichlorians to create life.
Yeah.
And then he was so powerful he could keep those close to him from dying. And then Anakin's now taking the bait.
Yeah.
And he drops the line of,
is it possible to learn
this power? And I love the freaking, first off, I love the smile Ian McDiarmid gives here. It's so subtle. He's reveling in the fact he goes, fortunately he taught his apprentice everything he knew, and then he killed him.
Yeah, and then he cracks that smile and he's like, ironic.
Yeah. Yeah, he goes, ironic he could keep those around him from dying, but couldn't protect himself.
In real life, fucking Sidious would be a scary dude, because he's literally a serial killer. Like, he kills everybody.
Yeah, he's pretty awesome.
He's a bad dude. But and then Anakin's like, is it possible to learn this power? And then just hits him with, not from a Jedi.
Yep, not from a Jedi.
And I guess that, to play in his mind, like, well, maybe I should, make some more discoveries or learn something, the Jedi aren't teaching me. Because he even says, he says, I know there's things the Jedi don't tell me. Or like, I know there's things the Jedi won't teach me.
Mm-hmm. And he'll go into it more. But yeah, I'm surprised that he didn't even question how he knows this like Sith legend and everything like that, because I don't know if it's outright banned to, like, you would think the Jedi would.
They say it isn't the Rise of Skywalker that, like, but Palpatine does say that his mentor taught him everything about the Jedi and the Sith. He's like, I know all about the Jedi and the Sith. My mentor was like heavily involved.
Yeah.
But he doesn't say who, and Anakin, too, he caught up in the moment, and
yeah, doesn't quite piece it together.
He's not really thinking about it.
But to the like audience, it seems like he's leaving so many breadcrumbs. He's like, it's like blatant. Like if you were a cop and I was secretly a killer that you were investigating, and you're like, I can't believe we can find this. Can't find this guy, and I've been like,
you should check the docs.
Yeah, yeah. Been like, it seems like he was trying to lead you in this direction with the way the blood trail went. And like it's like he's giving his own clues for them to find out.
That's pretty funny.
It's exactly what he's doing.
Yeah.
And I think he revels in it a little bit, but it is painful as the audience to watch and be like, how do these guys not know this? They're looking for a Sith Lord.
You think he's ever in meetings with like all the Jedi Council, and he's like, Count Dooku's here. Go find him.
And we didn't mention that Dooku in the beginning actually says, what if I told, or no, he says in end of episode 2, what if I told you the Senate was being controlled by a Sith Lord?
Yeah, we talked about that in our...
And
nobody believed him, yeah. Everyone was like, immediately like, bullshit.
Yeah.
They're just like... I feel like it's coming from like a... I don't know how I'd put it, but... like your worst enemy. If your worst enemy came up to you and told you some type of truth, you'd be like, fuck you. Like, I'm not believing a word you say. It's like Jedi and Sith. They're mortal enemies. They're not going to...
But if you
Like Superman and Lex Luthor wouldn't be like giving each other information, you know. So,
but if you knew how the Sith operated, which once again we said Jedi haven't had any contact with Sith in so long that
Yeah.
maybe these guys just don't know how like crazy these guys are.
yeah,
But like if you knew anything, if you'd read a book on the Sith, you would immediately know that maybe we should take him seriously because
Mhm.
if he's obviously been trained in the dark
Yeah.
side.
Mhm.
If there's any truth to it, maybe his play is he wants that guy taken out so he becomes the next master. Basically, what's this guy's game? It's worth investigating though,
yeah,
because I'm pretty sure that's what Tyrannus or Dooku's plan was.
yeah.
It's like,
Well, yeah, I think if he could have got Obi-Wan, that's what I said. I think if he could have got Obi-Wan, they would have took out Sidious, and
oh yeah,
it would have became his new plan. But yeah, and then so they find out where General Grievous is headed. They believe he headed to Upata.
Utapau.
Utapau.
Yeah.
I say Upata. Utapau. And so they send I don't think they ever say we think he's headed to Utapau. I think they just like he's around here.
Yeah,
And they send Obi-Wan to go kind of search for him, investigate, find out where he's at.
but so how that information is brought is now Anakin's errand boy is going back to the council to report that the senator has information that
Mhm.
Grievous is in this system or whatever. He's gone this way. And he goes, he's personally requested me to
Yeah.
lead the campaign.
Mhm.
And they all, once again, just immediately don't even hesitate. And they're like, no,
Yeah.
we're not giving you an army. And so, which is funny because of Clone Wars.
Yeah.
But they basically tell him no, and he's offended again, but he doesn't really fly off the handle this time. And then they all just basically say, we think Master Kenobi should go. And they're all in agreement.
Mhm.
And so he got snubbed again for Obi-Wan. So now it's creating more resentment to Obi-Wan. And so Obi-Wan goes off. So now we get the split where Obi-Wan heads to Utapau.
Yeah, that was also the last time before Obi-Wan left. That was the last time Obi-Wan and Anakin talked to each other as friends. And he told him, he was like, relax, you will be a master.
Yeah.
And then they
Tells
pretty
him he's
much may the force be with you. And
yeah, they trade off. He says you've become a far better Jedi than I ever could be, and all that stuff. Like he gives him a lot of praise.
Yeah.
And they give him may the force be with you, and they have a goodbye, and that's.
But that's the last time they ever talked to each other before the end of the movie, really. So
Yeah, and it's not nice.
yeah. So Obi-Wan goes on the hunt for Grievous, makes a stop at Utapau. I say it right this time.
Utapau.
Utapau.
I just know it from playing the original Battlefront 2. Like that's obviously one of the play, and it's like Utapau.
And so Obi-Wan's there. Yoda goes to help the Wookiees out on Kashyyyk, and then everybody else is all spread out already, pretty much.
As you can see in they're in holograms.
Yeah.
Half of them are in holograms on the thing, so we know they're on their own campaigns.
And so makes a stop, and they pretty much tell him, he's like, I'm on the hunt for General Grievous. Have you seen anything? And he's like, they're like, no. And then he's like, he comes in closer and he's like, he's upstairs.
Yeah, he does.
He's like, hundreds of battle droids. Or he's like, thousands of battle droids. And then Obi-Wan pretty much sends his tells his droid, he's like, go ahead, take off. That Magna droid sucks though. You just watch them like.
Oh yeah, he's up top, isn't he?
Yeah, because they had like a spy on him, but like Obi-Wan just sends his droid to take his ship back to make it look like he left, and
he gets the cool bird lizard to ride.
The cool bird lizard, and I like when the dudes are walking away. They're like, is he bringing any additional troops? And he's like,
didn't say.
So they're preparing for war on that planet, and Anakin's back with Palpatine, where Palpatine pretty much drops the ball on him.
Yeah,
kind of lets it all lay out.
And throws some more crumbs out first. Actually, it's kind of a duh moment that Anakin figures it out because he tells him again. He's like you're basically tells him you're only using half the power you could be using if you would learn the dark side. And he's like, what do you know about the dark side? And he's like, yeah, I know a lot about it. And he just goes, oh, you're the Sith Lord. And it's this like Scooby-Doo moment of unmasking him.
I feel like how Palpatine was just like, Anakin, just like, hear me out, dude. Hear me out. And then
dangles Padme in front of him again, saying, I'm the only one that can teach you how to save her because I have the power to save her. But he doesn't do anything there. He does try to tempt him. He's like, you'd like to strike me down, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
And this is one of the first of two Sith-gasms that that Palpatine has in this movie, and yeah, you know what I'm talking about immediately. Whenever he gets a chance to use a little of his power, he actually has 3 what I call Sith-gasms in this movie, and this is the first one because he tells him, he goes, you'd like to strike me down, wouldn't you? And Anakin's like, I sure would, or like I really, yeah,
I would certainly
I
like
would certainly
to.
like to. And you see Ian McDiarmid's face do this
he's
like oh. so that's
it is weird. He does that all the time. He's always like,
yeah, he's like feeding off the negative energy that Anakin's giving. He's just like, oh yeah, and it's just great.
But Anakin runs back to Mace Windu, and he's like, I think Palpatine's a Sith Lord, and he's like, and then like to Mace Windu, that probably was like the most out of left field thing he'd heard all day. He was like,
yeah,
a Sith Lord.
Yeah, he really just like flat out a Sith Lord.
Yeah,
like a lord, like the top one.
Yeah, and then he's like, and then Mace Windu, he goes, he's if what you're telling me is true, you've gained my trust. So
and earned a spot on the council. It's like that's all it took was if they had told him that from the beginning, it's like, hey, I want you to spy on Palpatine. He just like not only does well, I guess he didn't have the proof, that kind of bombshell proof, but like, do you think they still would have let him on the council if he'd come back and been like, Palpatine has secret bank accounts in Switzerland and the Seychelles? You know, like, would that still be like as grievous a sin to?
Hey, Palpatine's using Republic funding for other things. He's just like
shell corporations.
You're on the council, buddy.
That's it. You got what we needed to get him out. I mean, if they'd given him anything for them to overthrow him, I guess he would. But
and so Mace Windu is he's like, we'll arrest him. You don't worry about it. And Anakin wants to go.
Yeah, he's like,
I think they should have let him go, if I'm being honest, because they're pretty much just like, no, you shouldn't come there. You're too emotionally attached or whatever. I think they should have let him go because, we'll get into this because there's stuff that goes on between. But by the time he gets in there, like, he doesn't know what the fuck's going on. And he's very confused. So, but Obi-Wan gets on his cool bird lizard and pretty much makes his way to General Grievous, and we get the iconic hello there.
Which I think is great, that moment, because he's up in the rafters above Grievous and his little entourage. Yeah. And he would have, like I said, once again, severely outnumbered. It's just him. And he's got all those droids down there. Grievous is standing there. Grievous is telling the Separatist leaders that he's moving them to Mustafar. So he's putting them on a ship and telling them to get out. So they're headed to Mustafar. And Obi-Wan literally looks down, rubs his chin, like actively thinking, like, what's my best course of action here? And he's like, oh, okay. And then takes the cloak off, jumps right the fuck down there, because Jedi only know one attack plan, and that is to jump in the middle, be completely surrounded, and start hacking away. But this time, it's different because he jumps down the 4 Magna Guards. Which is it? Is it Manga or Magna?
It's Magna Guard.
That's what I thought.
Nobody notices him at first till he says anything. If I was Obi-Wan, I just would have like walked up to Grievous and just stabbed him.
He does, yeah. When he lands, he does the superhero landing that doesn't make a sound until he's like, hello there.
And then everybody doesn't recognize anything. That's great.
It should have been with a question mark at the end because I think he
hello
hello there.
But then everybody immediately turns around, weapons drawn, and then Grievous is like sends his Magna Guards. He's like, deal with this Jedi scum. And then they're like this big giant. I don't even know what it would be. Just this big giant hunk of
air conditioning vent.
Yeah, that's what I always pictured it as. He just like drops it. He just force pulls it down and on top of the Magna Guards.
And one of them is crushed at the waist, and he's going after his little spear
thing.
And Obi-Wan, like a bamf, just does this like this cool cut and cuts his head off like as he walks by, and it's a pretty badass moment.
Yeah. And then this is where we finally get to see Grievous in action, where he's like, "I'll deal with you myself." Takes off his cape, reveals motherfucker got 4 arms. And then he starts doing Grievous also has spinning wrist, like his Magna Guards. That little like helicopter blade spin.
Yeah, so he's got 4 lightsabers going at once.
Yeah.
Burning the ground, like he's dragging 2 behind him and spinning the others in front of him. So he's making all kinds of shock and awe.
Yeah.
Like noise.
Very intimidating.
very, but Obi-Wan's not having it.
No.
And so the fight starts, and immediately he starts hacking off limbs.
Mm.
So he cuts off like 2 of Grievous's hands.
Cuts off, 2 of his hands, and then he chops like one of his lightsabers in half.
Yeah, and so Grievous is now like, this is a little more than I signed up for. These guys usually run away. And so he gets on this little motorcycle, unicycle thing.
I love it.
It is cool. But
It's a big wheel.
yeah. What are they? We have those in real life. I just can't remember what they're called.
Are you talking about like the prototype ones?
Yeah. They're not like common, but,
Yeah.
but the way the wheels camber and everything. So it's like 2 wheels in one.
Yeah.
But
I can't remember what they're called.
I don't know what they're called either, but he gets on one of those and he takes off, and Obi-Wan chases him and with his little snake lizard bird.
Which,
lizard.
if they had those things, you feel like, hey, can you give me one of those things?
Yeah.
You just leave the keys in one and I'll find it. Or
Yeah.
you didn't have to give me a big bird.
Yeah, give me bird lizard. So he's chasing after him. He eventually, well, now we cut back. So we're cutting back now to the Jedi strike team going to arrest Palpatine. And I know Kit Fisto's on it, but I don't know the other 2 guys.
Kit Fisto, Sazy 10, and I can't, it's like Algan something, but he's like a lesser known dude. He's like not in a lot of novels or anything like that. But yeah, so, you know, they're all pretty much Jedi masters and pull up to go arrest Palpatine, and Mace Windu leading the attack. Jedi draw first on Palpatine.
It is true. They walk right in and light up.
So they pretty much just walk in, and Mace Windu goes, Chancellor Palpatine, you're under arrest. And he's like, for what?
Yeah.
and tells him you get the iconic it's treason then.
Yeah, it's
and then
treason.
He draws his lightsaber out of his sleeve.
Hidden blade thing.
Yeah.
He's got the Assassin's Creed hidden
He's
blade
got
thing.
like the coolest lightsaber in my opinion too. It's just like so fancy.
Yeah, it's like really reflective and
it's all like chromed out and gold.
He's got a lot of time to polish it and stuff because he doesn't use it for most of his life.
I didn't think when I was a kid and I saw this, because it was like the first time, and even now when I see it, I did not expect Ian McDermott, like this old man, to do the coolest, sickest spin.
Yeah, the corkscrew.
And the Sith scream, and then he just starts taking them out. Immediately takes out Sazy 10 and other dude, like 2 swipes, boom, 2 are down. In the novel, it's like a lot more brutal, and apparently they couldn't like do it the way George Lucas wanted to do. He wanted like heads to fly off, and
it makes sense.
Yeah, like put them on pikes and shit.
You got to do Palpatine right.
Yeah,
and I don't like this opening to this lightsaber fight. I think it's not great.
No,
it's very awkward and almost slow motiony.
Yeah,
and I feel like the Jedi would have reacted a little better to that, even if he could have. And they did Kit Fisto dirty.
They did do Kit Fisto dirty. Kit Fisto held his own for a little bit, and then he realized he's not in water and gets stabbed through the heart, which is very, I guess, like I said, the Jedi were spread out, but like if I was Mace Windu, I know Kit Fisto's a great Jedi. I wouldn't have been like, hey, water dude, come with me. We're going to not water. Yeah, I'd send Kit Fisto to Kashyyyk.
Yeah.
There's a lot of water out there. But,
or whatever water planet Plo Koon was flying over.
He was on Cato Nemoidia.
Oh,
same place Newt Gunray's from, all those separatist dudes. This movie has the best planets. Like even like the short snippets of them, you get to see all of them, and they're just all the best because they're like, you look at like the ones from the original trilogy, and they worked with what they had. They couldn't do like these crazy landscapes with like the editing for that just like wasn't there at the time. It would have cost so much money, or to even like build it. Like you couldn't get the big sweeping overhead shots. There was not enough, and with CGI and digital editing and everything like that, and they can build them. I mean, Felucia looks sweet, and then Cato Nemoidia looks sweet. These big hanging arches in the mountains. The one where those speeder bike dudes shoot that chick off her speeder bike. That one looks pretty cool.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember that planet.
I can't remember the planet.
I don't remember that planet. And then obviously we get Megiddo.
Yeah, Megiddo's sweet. It's like a ruins snow
ash.
place.
It's ash, isn't it?
Yeah. But which makes you think when they do like these new movies, why couldn't you do something like that again? You just made like 9 more sand worlds
Yeah.
and 3 more jungle worlds.
3 more forests.
And it's like, fucking give us something else, man. I'm tired of looking at sand.
Yeah.
I only did it for 6 other movies.
There's only 6 possible archetypes.
Yeah.
And
And then they never mention those other ones like ever again. Like nobody ever goes back there.
yeah.
So, but where are we at? Oh, but,
So they're arresting him.
Yeah.
And Kit Fisto, the other 3 Jedi that came along are dead now.
yep.
And
so
literally in snap.
it's
dead.
just Mace and Palpatine, and it said Mace Windu. So the only people to ever beat Palpatine is like Mace Windu. Mace Windu is the
Yeah.
only one who ever like actually beats Palpatine in lightsaber combat, as far as I know, at least.
Mhm.
I wouldn't consider Vader beating him in lights, like throwing him down the shaft.
Yeah.
Like he kind of just came from out of left field and
Yeah.
threw him down a thing. Like he didn't actually fight him. I'm not counting new shit. I'm not counting that. That doesn't count. So Mace Windu is the only Jedi to ever beat Palpatine in lightsaber combat, which is pretty much unheard of if you've read like any of the novels. Or he was like the best.
Yeah.
And he was so powerful in the Force. He only ever did it for fun. He only fought with lightsaber for fun because he was like, I'm gonna end up killing this guy. So, but we should go ahead and say here, the Grievous Kenobi fight is still going on, like in tandem. It's like cut in between.
Mhm.
Obi-Wan Kenobi kills General Grievous, pretty much shooting him in the chest and
Gets a
catching him on fire.
blaster and literally shoots him until he bursts into flames.
And gets it back on his bird lizard and heads back to the fight. But what?
Zelda's stinky.
Oh no.
Stinky dog.
I don't smell it over here yet.
Oh, you will.
Oh fuck. Oh, jeez.
Oh my god. She just plopped down beside me and I'm like, oh.
But so
So bad.
Get through this. Mace Windu and Palpatine are fighting. Mace Windu gets the upper hand, disarms Palpatine, and at that moment,
I want to mention the window break though.
oh, that's sweet.
The awesome window break. They both are like they're fighting, and then when they get one of those moments where they both do a pose, a Sith versus Jedi pose, Palpatine's lightsaber he uses to like he hits the glass, and the glass just explodes, shatters out of the room they're in. So you can see that they're like in the Coruscant skyline. So they're in like a high rise.
You think somebody's going? What the fuck?
Someone probably walked by and saw it, or drove by and saw it.
They're flying by.
But also want to mention, and I'll bring it up. So you say he like knocks Palpatine's lightsaber out and then has him like backed up in a corner just as Anakin comes in.
Mm-hmm.
Here's my question. We know that Mace Windu is probably the best swordsman like in recent Jedi history. I don't know if it's of all time, but he's always been like lauded as being one of the best all time. Do you think Sidious threw the fight?
I don't think so. And there's like that's a big argument. Like Palpatine knew, and like Anakin was coming through the doors, and so he threw the fight to make it look like he was down there. I kind of just think it was more like a matter of chance, where he was like, "Oh, this just worked out amazingly in my favor."
Yeah.
But because every now and then Palpatine, his plan doesn't go 100% the whole way along. There are times where he just gets lucky.
Oh yeah. If his plan was written on paper, there's a lot of like redacted stuff.
Yeah, just X'd out
X'd
stuff.
out and new lines. Pencils in the margins.
Yeah. But I don't think he did, because the whole like Mace Windu, like how he fights, he uses like the dark side kind of. He's like a balance between both, is how they say it in the books and stuff like that. Like he made his own lightsaber form. He has his own lightsaber form. It's like Form 7. So Darth Maul's form, but like the good guy version of it, because the Jedi aren't allowed to use Form 7. And then like nobody else is allowed to use that. I'd be pissed. If I was a Jedi, I'd be like, I'm using that.
Well, in the lore, doesn't 2 of his apprentices fell to the dark side because he tried to train them in it?
Yeah. So, but like he uses his anger, which is like a very fitting Samuel L. Jackson thing.
Yeah.
I wish they would have made a rated R version of it and gave us a Samuel Jackson motherfucker. We could have got one because it was PG-13. I think when he got his arm shot, he should be like motherfucker.
Yeah.
But
if that or the kid in the Jedi Temple.
Yeah,
that's the two F-bombs they could have used.
But but Anakin, I don't think Palpatine threw the fight. I think he actually lost fair and square at one time, and he's probably, very concerned, or he probably had a way to get out of it. He had the Force lightning.
I think he always
I think even if he lost, he knew he was going to get out of it.
Yeah, if he legitimately lost, I don't think he was panicking because I think he was fine.
Yeah.
But I still want to believe that he threw the fight, or at least.
If you look when he's like scooting back up to the window, though, he does kind of have like oh fuck,
But it's always been an act for him, so
that's true.
I think that part of me wants to believe that even if he didn't per se like throw the fight, I think he was stalling for time.
Yeah.
Like he could have been like, "Oh no, you disarmed me." Whoa. I think he was definitely drawing it out and trying to get either Mace Windu to talk more or to let his guard down thinking he had won.
Mm-hmm.
So he could surprise him.
Yeah.
Or
get him monologuing.
or like you said, it just happened to be super good chance that Anakin rolls up and he's just like, "Oh, this just got better."
I like that way because he sees Anakin walking in, he's just like, yes. But so Mace Windu's towering over Palpatine while he's literally backed up against the window, looking like he's begging for his life.
Mm-hmm.
And Anakin's like pretty much like, stop, I need him.
Mm-hmm.
And you get it. Well, he's too dangerous to be left alive. He's like, no, he needs to stand on trial. And Palpatine looks at Anakin and he's like, I told you the Jedi are gonna betray me.
Yep.
They're here to kill me. Which even after like knowing everything, that probably still, that'd still mess with your head. Like if somebody was like, I think they're gonna betray me, and then like next week you see him like backed up in a corner, like they're killing me.
Yeah,
this is it. So,
which doesn't explain that he had to step over 3 Jedi bodies.
Yeah.
To get in the room.
Is that the water guy?
The water guy. They never really met. They never got introduced.
Never knew each other.
They never got introduced. They just like, is that the water guy?
And then but Anakin also, he's probably like right in the middle because he's like, okay, Sith Lord, douchebag Jedi Master who won't give me what I want.
Yeah, he's been an asshole the whole time to me.
See, he's probably thinking, he's like, maybe Mace Windu's turned to the dark side, or...
And also, guys treating me like a son versus guy who told me to my face that he didn't have my trust.
Yeah. But the thing is when you think about it, if Mace Windu would have killed Palpatine, the Sith wouldn't have been gone. Mace Windu would have became Sith after killing Palpatine, or he would have left. He wouldn't have been able to, or they would have kicked him out because it's not the Jedi way, Even if I do believe that the Sith wouldn't end right there, because everybody says that if Anakin just would have let Mace Windu kill Palpatine, everything would have been over. Like the war would have been over. There would have been no more Sith. I think Mace Windu would have become a Sith after that. Which is a good like alternate universe thing.
Yeah.
But Mace Windu rears back, about to.
So we got to say first that we see the Force lightning.
Sorry, I totally forgot. Yeah.
We see the Force lightning for the first time, and this is how we get Palpatine's scarred face.
Mm-hmm.
And also,
Anakin also watches that too. So the good point.
Yeah. And Palpatine's really selling it now at this point. He's going, I'm too weak. I can't go on any longer, to really butter up Anakin real good. And now he can say it. So,
also before I say that, I want to get your opinion on this. Do you think these Palpatine, either getting scarred? Do you think it's him getting scarred by the Force lightning bouncing back, or do you think that's him revealing his true self? Like what he actually looks like.
I think
it's his true self.
I think him using, because he's held in that power all this time, hasn't been using it. I think obviously the yellow eyes and the pale skin is
that's
from unleashing all the power and using it.
Mm-hmm.
I think the brow and the ripples in the brow and all that stuff. Because we know he was human.
Yeah, he was human. But like if you look at any Sith, like go back to like Knights of the Old Republic too, like Darth Sion. That dude was literally like broken.
He was falling apart.
Yeah, and like the Force was holding him together. Like the dark side was holding him together. But
we don't know of any kind of trauma that he had.
That's true. But I guess it could be a little bit of both. Because like I think with the Sith eyes, the pale skin, everything like that, and the yellow teeth is what gets you. I guess Sith. They're like, hey, you don't gotta brush your teeth around here.
Yeah, no dental hygiene.
But so I guess it could be a little bit of both. But yeah, he immediately just like snaps into like something else. And
yeah.
As a child, that kind of scared me. I was like, oh, jeez.
Yeah, and then we get the voice too when he gets to start using his deep Palpatine voice. But
Mace Windu rears back, about to strike him down, and Anakin, in hesitation, is like, no, cuts Mace Windu's arm off, and he's pretty much there, just screaming in pain. And Palpatine hits him with the unlimited power.
Guess I wasn't that weak.
Yeah, throws him out the window. I like the robot chickens where it's like Darth Maul falls down to the pit and he's like, I gotta get that transfer to Coruscant. And then Mace Windu falls down and he's like, I gotta get that transfer to the Death Star. But yeah, I wonder if they ever went and like, or somebody found Mace Windu's body and was like, holy fuck.
It's been a long fall. He probably
just splatted.
Yeah.
But and then you get our second Sith-gasm.
Yes. That felt so good to use. Like he finally got to use his power, which that would be my biggest thing. If I could not have been Sidious.
Because he didn't.
If I could not have been the long game Sith. If you gave me Sith powers today, I'd be out there using them right now. I'd cut this off and I'd be like, I've got stuff to go blow up and things.
The only other time I ever see him like use his power, and it's actually like with the novelization, there's a lot of issues with it because he hid everything. Like those statues, like his lightsabers were hidden in the blah blah blah. But not getting into that too much. In the Clone Wars TV show, he goes and fights Darth Maul on Mandalore, and we get to see him, use his power there, stuff like that. But I don't know. I'm kind of disassociated with that. I'd rather him like sit there and like I can't do anything for like 20 years.
Yeah, he gets to finally uncork it.
Yeah,
it's just great.
Just build up of no training and nothing. Like he finally back in it though.
So yeah, Sithgasm number 2. We get the.
Which one's number 3? Is it when he's fighting Yoda?
No, 3 comes right after it. So 3 is now Anakin is panicking because he's like, "What have I done?" And he realizes he just really messed up because there's no coming back from that.
No, you can't go apologize for that.
No, you can't. I hacked off Mace Windu's arm and let the Sith Lord that we've all been trying to find throw him out a window. Yeah, whoopsies. And 3 other bodies are back here. I definitely walked over them. So yeah, he's not coming back from this one. So he finally realizes his only option is to join Palpatine, and Palpatine kind of stands above him, and he's like all panicking. He's like, "Oh, I'll do whatever you want. I can't lose Padme," and he's taking it all in like, "Yeah, you will." And then we get the quiet moment where he's feeling like Anakin's energy again, and and it's silent for a second. And you know how I told you when I've been rewatching these movies, I've been rewatching them with subtitles.
Yeah.
These subtitles during this little silent pause literally says, it said rapid breathing and soft growling or silent growl or something.
Really?
And it's right before he just goes, strong in the force. The force does it. The force is strong in you. So it literally says rapid breathing and like soft growling is what the actual subtitle said. So that's Sithgasm number 3.
Sithgasm 3.
Where he's just taking in the energy again. And
but Sidious deems him Darth Vader and tells him to get your clone troopers and head to the Jedi Temple. And I can't remember the exact line he used, but he pretty much tells him, do what you got to do,
Yeah. And he says, once you've taken out all the Jedi at the temple, he'll send them to the Mustafar system, basically, to take out the Separatist leaders. So Vader's got his marching orders, and he sends him away.
Yep. And
then he gets on the comm links and sends out the infamous Execute Order 66 across the galaxy.
Yep. And then it cuts back to Obi-Wan. Commander Cody. So Obi-Wan in the fight with Grievous drops his lightsaber. Commander Cody picks it up. That's
fortuitous of it. Just to fall, things just fall right where they need to.
And Commander Cody. And so Obi-Wan's like, he's like, keep up the forward assault. And literally about to take off, and Commander Cody goes, "Oh, hey, by the way, you dropped this." And then right after Obi-Wan leaves, he gets the call, execute Order 66.
Literally 95 seconds. We watched it just
we
a
just
little while
watched
ago.
it.
He rides away, and Commander Cody turns and looks at his comlink and goes, "Well, I just lost him." So they fire a cannon at him, and Obi-Wan's got to think, what the hell?
Yeah.
He must think it's a stray shot, or because I'm sure he's not thinking friendly fire.
Yeah. I can't remember how it I can't remember how in the video game there's like a lot added onto it. Like the video game, there's actually like deleted scenes added in it and stuff like that from the movie. But I think I think like some clone troopers like stumble upon him, and then he just like they just start firing on him or something like that, and he has to lay him out. But and then but all the Jedi around the galaxy are all getting taken out by their clones.
Yeah. And we get to see these planets like we talked about earlier. So
yeah,
we go to Felucia and see Aayla Secura.
Aayla Secura gets gunned down.
Yeah, we get to see Ki-Adi-Mundi finally bited on Megiddo, which he looks genuinely shocked that they turned on him.
Oh,
he's
like, this is the worst.
He's like leading the charge, and he's like, "Come on, men, follow me." And then he looks and realizes nobody's following him, and he turns around, and he's just like, "What? Why?"
And then they gun him down.
They light him up.
Like you said, it must have felt good for those guys because he was a dickhead to his clones.
Yeah. Plo Koon doesn't even have a chance because he's in flying a ship, and two ARC fighters are behind him, and they take him out.
Take him out. Pretty much all these Jedi just get wiped out, and Yoda's in Kashyyyk, and he's just,
he feels all the pain across the galaxy.
It really reminds me of when Obi-Wan felt Alderaan explode.
Alderaan, yep.
It's like the same. It's pretty much the same exact thing where he's feeling all these people dying and all this, and then right before his clones turn on him, he does a sweep backflip and chops their head off right beside Chewbacca and Tarful.
Who don't no clue what's going on.
It was like, what the fuck? And then immediately side with Yoda. They're like, all right, hop on my back.
So yeah, they get to ride off and evacuate Yoda via little blue space egg.
You think Yoda was riding on Chewbacca's back, and I was like, this would make great training one day.
Yeah.
But
I make him do flips.
Yeah. And then you get a lot of cool scenes on Kashyyyk, like the battle. We didn't really talk about the battle on Kashyyyk.
Yeah, and that is a cool battle.
It's a cool battle, but there's not like a lot of plot there. But and then like the clone troopers on the walkers, all these Wookiees are dead. Move on to the next one. Why did you kill the Wookiees?
Yeah, they turned on your side. They turned on the entire planet.
Yeah, but the Wookiees they get shit all the time, dude.
Mm-hmm.
And so, but they're searching for Yoda, and Chewbacca and Tarful pretty much extract Yoda, get him on a little tiny spaceship. I love how we get the goodbye Chewbacca.
Yeah.
Goodbye Tarful.
Yeah.
These are your names.
Well, I think they wanted to make sure that Chewbacca was brought up as he was a war hero before we see him in exile with meeting up with Han Solo and everything. We see why he's on the run from his own planet and everything. But yeah, they do, like, they save him for the dramatic reveal. Like, we did know it was him. It was like, goodbye Tarful. Goodbye, Chewbacca.
Yeah. Everybody knew it was Chewbacca.
Which is one of those things where I know some people have a problem with that, like where it's a problem in movies where everybody knows everybody.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's too convenient that you're like,
I chalk it down to it's a small world. I mean, a lot of stuff like that happens in real life where you just bump into somebody and then something happens, or so. But that is really funny that like what if like the Millennium Falcon went to Dagobah instead, and Chewbacca's like, my bro, it's been forever.
Yeah. That's true. They never had a chance to catch up.
No, they never caught up. But you think like Luke was telling Han, and he was like, yeah, and Yoda taught me some things, and Chewbacca's like, who?
How?
Yoda? How do you know him? But and then you get the storming of the Jedi Temple, which is a sick shot. Is this the first time we hear the Imperial March? It's the first time we hear it in this film.
In this movie.
We hear it in the end episode 2.
Yeah.
But you get the Imperial March and Anakin marching with all his clone troopers.
The 501st.
Yep.
The Vader's fist.
Which is, the story behind that is that was like a group of like cosplayers that they just called themselves the 501st, and then they just added it into the movie.
That's pretty neat. I didn't know that's how it got.
Like there's an homage to them because it was the biggest one apparently. I think is what it is. Just a small little fact. And then it's just pretty much clones mowing down everybody in the Jedi Temple, and then you get the scene where Anakin walks in there to teach those younglings a lesson.
Yeah, so the younglings getting their final lesson today.
Learn about it.
So we get this one little kid who runs up and is just like, Master Skywalker, what's happening? The Jedi, or something like.
Yeah.
I don't know what he says.
And then Anakin ignites his lightsaber, and the kid jumps back. I was telling you about this. This is a very little known fact. That kid, the kid who played him, recently said, not too long ago, that reaction came from Hayden Christensen. Like, in that scene, he said, Master Skywalker, what are we going to do? And Hayden Christensen just let him just went, boo! Snapped down him real quick and made that kid jump, which is
brilliant.
Very smart on him. The first time I read it, I thought I don't know if you've seen them. There's a lot of like memes and jokes about like stuff that happened during the filming of the prequels, where it's like George Lucas is like, oh, the youngling scene, that was never supposed to happen. Hayden Christensen just walked in there, started whacking a bunch of kids, and the camera's rolling. And then there's one with Christopher Lee where it's like, George Lucas is like, Christopher Lee just came on set and did a sick front flip, and the cameras were rolling, so I decided to leave. You get Obi-Wan getting picked up by
Yeah, he gets in his ship and sends out a distress call first off, and doesn't get anyone but Senator Organa.
Senator Organa picks it up, and he heads to the Jedi Temple to see, because it's on fire, and he sees that the clones are killing Jedi when they see him kill a youngling, and he takes off, and so he's pretty much the only one who's like, in the know with like, because everybody else is just assuming the Jedi tried to betray the Chancellor, because that's what he told him.
And it's even what Anakin tells Padme.
Yeah, exactly. And so Bail Organa's the only one who really realizes what's going on, and picks up Yoda, picks up Obi-Wan, and then they kind of develop a plan to where they head back to the Jedi Temple and to see what went down, and they find out all the Jedi are dead and all the younglings are dead, and they look at security holograms of him killing younglings.
He's choking one too, like not force choking one. Have you ever watched like what's going on in the video?
Yeah, oh yeah.
It's cool. Like he's got one by the throat, and he's like sitting there slashing another one. I'm like, man, he went all out.
Going off.
You thought he'd just be in there all teary eyed, like you got to put your dog down or something.
Yeah.
And no, he's in there choking people.
He probably was crying too. That'd be the scariest shit if I saw a man crying, running at me with a lightsaber. I'd take off. I'd run the other way.
This is not Old Yeller. He's like
hacking people. Sith are brutal. That's the message for this. Don't fuck with Sith. They're brutal. But Obi-Wan, he can't handle it. He's like, how's this happen? This makes no sense. He's in utter shock. And then Yoda pretty much says, you need to go kill Anakin, and I'll go deal with Sidious because you can't go deal with Sidious. And Obi-Wan's like, no, please, I can't go. He's my brother. I can't go kill Anakin. And but
yeah,
where you gonna go? You gonna go get murdered by Sidious?
Yeah, well, yeah, seriously.
So
I would see that as a realist person. If I was Obi-Wan and Yoda's like, I need you to go to Anakin. I got it.
Yeah.
Like I wouldn't even let him finish that sentence.
All right, I'll go deal with Anakin.
If he said, I need you to go deal with Sidious, and I'm Obi-Wan, I'm gonna go.
If they knew they were split
good run,
up,
guys.
if they knew they were split up, I think the better idea would be like, let's go take out Sidious, and then we'll go try to get Anakin.
Yeah, if you take out Sidious, then Anakin, you might be salvageable.
Yeah, so
Because what's he gonna do without Sidious at that point?
Exactly. He's pretty much done. And then if he's all upset about like, oh, now Padme's gonna die, he'd be like, too fucking late. There's
Yeah.
nothing you can do about it. We'll just have to see what happens.
We'll make sure to bury her on the same pyre as the other 1,000 people you just killed.
Yeah, we'll chisel her name in there too. Don't worry. to the
The
monument.
memorial, yeah.
We'll chisel her name in there too, bud. Don't fucking worry.
Well, in the Order 66 monument,
Yeah.
we'll make sure he gets a plaque on there.
So Obi-Wan goes to tell Padme, you know, break the news to her. Because she thinks all the Jedi are bad. Because she even asked Anakin, she's like, even Obi-Wan? And he's like, even Obi-Wan, you know?
He's like, he gets some hope. He's like, I can only hope he's
Oh, that's true.
remain
yeah.
faithful.
Mm-hmm. But so he goes to tell her that, you know, he's like, I'm looking for Anakin. Have you seen him? She's like, nope, I haven't seen him. And he's like, he's turned to the dark side. I saw him kill younglings, and she's just kind of, he'd never do that.
And he also, I think, drops the bomb on her. He's just like, you're pregnant, right?
Yeah.
Like, he knows.
Yeah, he's like,
you haven't been wearing flowy gowns
Yeah,
for this whole episode because
he's like, he's the father, isn't he? And then he hits her with like, it was a dick move. He's like, I'm so sorry. And then so she takes off to go see Anakin, and he sneaks aboard her ship to kind of follow her there. But and Yoda goes to deal with Sidious. I like the Yoda Sidious fight just as much as I like, but nobody gives it like a lot of credit, but I like it just as much as the Anakin Obi-Wan fight.
I love how it goes back and forth between them,
Mhm.
but I won't say I like it as much as the Obi-Wan Anakin fight. I do like it a lot, and it's got that Yoda humor in it. When he walks into the room, and the two guards that are there, he just force throws into the wall. Like, yeah, it doesn't even make him emotional. He just like, and they just bam, and they're out. And so, and then Palpatine's got his cronies with him, his crew that never say anything. Or
Yeah.
I don't know who. I guess it's probably his friends from Naboo that he just brought along, like his prep,
His entourage.
his prep school friends, because he was like a rich kid too, wasn't he?
Yeah,
Yeah.
growing up, he had like nice speeders and stuff like that.
Yes.
The douchebag that drives the Corvette at your high school, that's Palpatine.
That's Palpatine.
Be careful, don't fuck with him.
Yeah, those two guys, he was the starting quarterback, and those guys were his fucking like.
That's the rest of the football team.
Yeah, those his jock friends that always like stood up for him and stuff. For his dickish behavior.
Yeah, but Yoda's like, he's like, how are you doing, Palpatine? Or should I say Darth Sidious? Like it's some kind of reveal. And then,
Which, how do you find out the name?
Did they always know the name?
No. Wait, someone tells. I can't remember who it is.
I think
remember. Is that when Dooku says to Obi-Wan in episode 2? Does he say that it's being ruled by?
I think they do, yeah.
He might mention his name.
I'm pretty sure they mention it in episode 2, and if they don't, they mention it some other time. I've heard him say Darth Sidious before, like before that.
Yeah.
Or like even in the Clone Wars, I've probably heard it.
Yeah.
So
either way, it works because they retconned it through Clone Wars.
Yeah, and so but Palpatine immediately just stands up, and Yoda like should have expected it. He expected it from Dooku. Boom! Shoots him with Force lightning.
Zaps him. And then his entourage calmly walks out like, oh, he's got to handle business now.
Yeah. Oh, he's got the lightning out again.
Yeah.
That'd be cool. Like they're at a bar later, and he'd be like, "I'm friends with a wizard." But,
and the girl he's hitting on is just like, right.
Yeah.
Sure
Okay. I like your weird horns that come out the top and bottom of your skull.
She's just drunk enough to where and the prospects aren't good. She'd be like, can you like take those things off?
Your friend, your bald, like super pale friend over there is kind of weird. But we get the reveal of Obi-Wan on Mustafar, where Anakin's like, "What are you doing here?" And he's like, "Obi-Wan told me so many things."
Yeah, he takes out all the Separatist leaders. We should mention that.
Oh yeah, he murders all the Separatist
they're
leaders.
like excited to see him because they're just like, oh yeah, they're like Sidious's new apprentice, and they're like, Lord Vader, we've been waiting on you, and he's like, I'm gonna go all yellow eye on you guys.
Imagine if Obi-Wan like missed like her ship, and then she went there anyways, and then a doorway away, there's a bunch of dead
Yeah.
bodies in there, and she's like, Obi-Wan told me so many bad things, and he's like, let's hang out on your ship. Let's
Which-
not go in there.
And she'll take back what she said earlier about remember earlier she's trying to bargain with, she's like, maybe we're on the wrong side. And he's like, you're starting to sound like a separatist.
Oh, yeah.
And they have that whole little argument.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. He turns around with them yellow eyes, and she's probably like, I think the Republic is great.
I love the idea of an empire.
Yeah, I'm thrilled to be a part of this.
Go ahead, brand me.
Yeah. I can't wait to have our kids in this safe and secure environment.
But while they're talking, Obi-Wan's standing in the doorway. He probably just got done taking a quick piss.
Yeah. There's a
It's
long flight
stored in that locker. But he's like, he immediately starts expecting. He's like, you brought him here to kill me.
Yeah,
and then he starts
paranoid.
Yeah, force chokes her. If I was Obi-Wan, was just like, let her go. You let her go. He didn't do anything to actually like stop it though.
Yeah.
And so he ends up letting her go, and she's all choked out on the ground. And
She's all choked out.
yeah, getting to the point. But so Obi-Wan and Anakin, they have I love the talk they have before the fight. He's like, I brought peace and justice and security to my new empire, and he's just like,
Your new empire.
Your new empire.
I bet you don't own nothing.
Yeah.
You're being used.
And then
And then
don't make me kill you.
yeah, if you're not with me, you're my enemy.
Yeah.
And so then we get the best line, though. Only a Sith deals in absolutes,
Mhm.
which I find hilarious because in today's modern like political environment that we live in
Everything's
the
an
U.S. right now,
absolute.
everything is everyone only deals in absolutes. Apparently, I feel like the only gray Jedi in a world of Sith and Jedi.
Saying only a Sith deals in absolute is an absolute also.
Yeah, it is. It
So-
is. Yeah. So the Jedi are hypocrites.
Well, we've known that. And you get that. I'll do what I must. You will try, and the backflip's sweet. And
Yeah, the fight right now. I'm gonna go ahead and say it. This is the best lightsaber fight.
It is the best lightsaber fight. I'd say the only one that I kind of enjoy more is the Darth Maul fight, just because I'm such a big Darth Maul fan.
Yeah, and Ray
Um,
Park is
yeah,
it's just art in motion.
It's so fast
Yeah.
in that. Where this one you get like a lot of flourishes and a lot of like,
yeah.
you know, cool
They do that
movements.
whole hurricane spin thing where neither one of them actually touch each
Yeah,
other, even though they're closer than me and you are right now.
They're predicting each other's moves.
Yeah.
Fucking.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be a good Jedi or Sith. So. But where you get like this lightsaber fight where it is really good. There's a lot of flourishes and you know it's a good lightsaber fight. I think the one in episode's a whole lot better as far as like an actual swordsman
Yeah.
lightsaber fight. There's a lot of blocking and attacks and defense, and you know, we're in this one.
Just a lot of cool stuff going
The
on.
whole all the spins are great.
And that's one of the things with the Yoda Sidious fight that why I don't rank it as high is because a lot of it is Yoda jumping platform to
Yeah.
platform, and
Mhm.
Sidious is just kind of like waving his he's just like
Yeah.
you're there, you're
Mhm.
there. He's not having to do much
No.
really, and it's kind of shorting like those two right there. That should be an epic. Freaking,
Yeah.
and it is. It's good.
It's good. I think it's hard to like work. I bet you it was really hard to work with Yoda. Like, how do we make Yoda do a lightsaber fight?
Yeah.
I think it was gonna sound bad. I think the way you should have fixed it is you should have Sidious do a whole lot of flips and stuff too.
And
Just have them all
Yoda,
flipping
yeah.
around.
And Yoda's just deflecting it. That'd have been cool. Ian McDiarmid just came on set one day
He
and did
just started doing flips. I just had the camera rolling, so we just left it in the film.
So we gotta wrap up this plot. So the lightsaber fights are going on. Sidious beats Yoda.
Sidious beats Yoda, and Yoda pretty much, you know, Bail Organa goes picks him up.
Yeah,
and
he
he's
has
like,
to bail out.
He's like, I failed. Into
Yeah.
exile, I'll go. Which is probably like if I was Bail Organa, I'd be like, Jesus, dude, it's not the end of the world. Actually, it is.
Go
but,
back and try again.
yeah, you know, you can always go back. We can get you a new lightsaber. Apparently, anybody can make them.
Yoda's pride just got to him. What if he had got in the car and just been like, "That guy's good."
Yeah.
That guy is good. Man. I can't. Nah, I'm going to Dagobah.
Yeah, I'm getting out. He's like, he looks at Bailey. Get the fuck out of here. I'm not dealing with that guy ever again.
That guy is a monster. Where's the biggest shithole in this galaxy? Dagobah? Take me there.
Take me to Dagobah. Where can nothing besides me survive?
Yeah, take me somewhere nobody will go.
So, and then the Obi-Wan fight. The Obi-Wan Anakin fight's the longest lightsaber fight also. I'm glad they didn't change that with the new movies. I'm glad they left that the longest one because it's obviously the most like emotional, the most...
Yeah, it means the most on the table kind of
yeah,
thing.
it's like, you know, it's the biggest... It's supposed to be the biggest lightsaber fight. But there's great scenes, you know, so where they're fighting, like right after they do all those spins, they like chop up some the control boards. Or I think they force push each other on and they hit a bunch of switches.
Hit buttons.
And the whole facility is going down, which has got to suck. What if you're like one of those dudes and you're getting off your lunch break and you're like, that's my ass.
Well, yeah, you've got all those little lava droids and stuff that are like, carrying things around, but someone's probably running.
Yeah. Well, there's these guys. They're like picking up lava. I don't know what you do with lava, but
the pumice.
Yeah, and so they're fighting on top of the little droids, the lava droids, and then they're running up and down the pyres or whatever, falling down. There was supposed to be a scene, they cut it out, and they never even filmed anything on it. It was just written. There was supposed to be a moment in that fight where a giant lava monster came out the lava.
Like Blarg from Super Mario.
I guess. And it was supposed to be like this giant, huge lava monster, and Anakin and Obi-Wan were supposed to fight together one more time. Because, like...
Yeah, that was dumb. I'm glad that didn't make it.
You're glad that didn't make it? I wish they would have added that.
I don't think that would have worked.
And then they're doing, like, some Pirates of the Caribbean shit. They're swinging on ropes.
Yeah.
They added every type of fight you could probably, like, imagine and just put it all into one. And they did a good job with it, though. But, Obi-Wan seizes out, and he, you know, jumps off the lava droid, and he's on the, he has the high ground. And so he tells him, and he's like, it's over, Anakin. I have the high ground, which is like, jump 3 feet to the right. And now you still have the low ground, but you can run to him now. You don't got to jump to him.
Yeah.
Bad planning. But Anakin, everyone tells him, don't try it. And Anakin
doesn't listen.
Tries to do a flip over him, and Obi-Wan just chops his legs and arms off.
The last time he won't listen to him.
Yeah.
Because he has a history of not listening to Obi-Wan.
Yeah, he should have known by like the time, like all the people Obi-Wan and like arms and legs and shit he's cut off. He's been like, all right, I should probably not try this right now.
She's probably right. It's in our training manual.
Yeah. But so Anakin is straight up, you know,
diced,
and he's slipping into the lava.
Screams the "I hate you," which is amazing.
I hate you. Yeah, and Obi-Wan, he's like, "I loved you."
Hayden Christensen must have loved delivering that line.
Yeah,
like I would, like for this scene, I want you to be the angriest you've ever been in your entire life and scream "I hate you." It's like you got to think to the people that have wronged you the worst in your life and just be like, "I hate you."
And so Obi-Wan takes his lightsaber, Anakin's lightsaber, and his lights, and then he pretty much just takes off. He gets
he's like, I'm gonna let you burn to death.
Yeah,
man.
Which is kind of fucked up. Like, put him out of his misery.
Not even a coup de grace, like literally. Like finish the duel like a gentleman. Like even the samurai don't do that. Like the Jedi are supposed to be like space samurai, and they don't have their own Bushido code. Like he just lets the guy burn.
Yeah, but he immediately catches on fire, and then he's just like, oof.
Yeah.
Another good place to add, motherfucker.
Yeah, that would be another.
Kill me. But, Obi-Wan gets Padme and then takes off in her ship, and they head back to Bail Organa. But Sidious makes his way to Mustafar, and then the shock troopers find him, and they're like, he's still alive. If I was Sidious, I'd be like, what the fuck? He's still alive? Which shows, it goes to show in the Star Wars universe, people don't die.
Yeah.
People are really, really adamant about living.
Back to like Darth Sion and stuff like that. Like he's so caught up in his dark energy, the Force is like literally probably keeping him from dying.
Yeah, and so you get in tandem. you get the scenes where she's kind of recovered a little bit and she's giving birth, which we find out to be twins, Luke and Leia. While Padme is giving birth, it's cutting in between Darth Vader or Anakin being turned into Darth Vader, this being the suit being put on. And you get the where's Padme? She's safe. Is she all right? And he's like, you killed her.
You killed her, bro.
Yeah. And but you didn't know that.
He's like, no, I felt her heartbeat.
Yeah. And the no.
Frankenstein, no. Or it shakes. I do like that it shakes everything in the room and like
all this stuff starts breaking and the droid
and Sidious is eating it up. He's smiling. He's about to have another Sith-gasm.
Yeah, he's probably right there. He's like,
yeah.
And then so it also, it's cutting back and forth. Obi-Wan pretty much decides, I'll take the boy to Tatooine, where he'll be raised by his aunt and uncle. And Bail Organa's like, well, I'll take the girl. Me and my wife want to get a daughter anyway. So, boom, we'll just split these children up and never tell them anything.
Yeah, that's healthy.
So, Obi-Wan takes Luke to Lars. Bail keeps Leia. And then the film ends with Darth Vader and Sidious looking at the construction of the Death Star, which is a good way to end the film, I think.
With Governor Tarkin.
Yeah.
Doesn't get a line in the movie. But
is there a young Tarkin in that movie?
Yeah.
Is there? I never even noticed that.
Yep, he's there like with a clipboard, like he's.
Oh, I didn't know that. Yeah. That's sweet.
Yep, it's I can't remember what the actor that
played him. From Rogue One comes out and he's like, "This is my idea."
Yeah,
this is all me.
The guy who plays him is the same. He's one of the guys from Farscape. I don't know if you ever watched Farscape or not.
No, I've never seen it.
It's the actor from that, but I don't remember his name. It's not worth looking up. But yeah, he is there in that scene. There is a lot going on in that scene, though, so I forgive you for not. You get like,
I never knew
crossed
that.
arms, Vader, but yeah. So, and that wraps up the movie.
Yeah.
So that's the plot. It's like I said, there's so much to talk about. For a not one of the top 3 longest Star Wars movies, it took us a long time just to get through that plot because so much happens in 2 hours and 20 minutes. I didn't mention this at the beginning and probably should have, but I should have told you about the trailer. I don't know if you remember the trailer for this movie.
No, I don't.
Because you had never seen the trailer for episode 2, and I told you about how much hype I had for it.
Yeah.
That hype compares nothing to the hype I had for the trailer for this movie.
The only thing I remember about the actual episode 3 trailer is the Darth Vader breathing at the end of it.
Yeah.
And I remember I was like, oh.
Yep.
It was like Vader.
It showed him with the yellow eyes when he looks down the hallway after killing all the separatists.
Yep.
And I was like, that's awesome. But it ended with the breathing and Ian McDiarmid saying, rise.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's
pretty sweet.
It was awesome.
Yeah, I've never seen any of the trailers to the original ones or the prequel ones, and just because I wasn't there. So I just watched the movies.
Yeah, I'll have to show you the episode 3 trailer too. But yeah, so that's episode 3. I don't. There's not a whole lot you can talk me into or out of. I think because I love this movie.
I think we're on agreement. It's definitely my top 2 or 2 or 3.
The more I think about it, the more I actually want to bump it up, and I think that actually I'm going to knock down probably Rogue One and maybe either Empire or Return. I think that hands down this is the most fun Star Wars movie for me.
Yeah.
It's visually very appealing. The battles are cool. The lightsaber fights are awesome. Generally it moves fast paced. I never get bored watching it. And yeah, it's got some humor in it. It's funny. It's the most fun, entertaining of the Star Wars movies in my. If I was ranking solely on that, it is
funny. Jar Jar Binks is in this film.
He is.
We didn't mention.
We did not mention that he isn't, and he's only in it to like console Padme, and he says like something stupid when she's like crying, doesn't he?
Why is everybody like going to Jar Jar?
I don't know, but he's,
no, I don't think. I think Padme's crying. C-3PO says something too.
That's right. 3PO won't.
3PO is like she's watching the Jedi Temple burn down, and he's like, "I'm sure Anakin's all right." And cut the slice.
But Jar Jar's in it for a second. I forget where he's at now, but
he's a member of the Senate. He does something on the Senate. I can't remember. I think they just kind of show him in there because like you kind of gotta.
Yeah, so because they never tell you he's dead. So.
Yeah.
But yeah, if I was ranking solely on entertainment purposes, I would make this my number one.
Yeah.
As far as written, directed, and from a like I said cinematic standpoint, I don't think it's top three, but I still think it's in the top four.
Yeah.
I think it might be number four.
The acting isn't like the best.
Yeah.
And it isn't in any of the prequel
It's
films,
it's
but
better written than the first two prequel films, but there's still some dialogue that's kind of cringy. And then, like I said, the downfall of Vader is very fast. It feels very rushed when it happens. But overall, I would say this movie is probably in my top two. I would say it's my one or two. It's got to be.
I'd say it's my 2 or 3. I still like Return of the Jedi the most.
Yeah, and I have a lot of nostalgia for that. I just don't know. Like I said, it's maybe it's 1, 2, or 3 for me.
Yeah.
We'll see. But that's where I've kind of come to agree. This is going to be in the top 3. And I think that's not changed since I started.
Yeah, probably not.
When I started, I think I always said until Rogue One came out, I used to say Revenge of the Sith was like my third favorite after Empire and Return. But now that we've done this podcast, I've started shuffling around to where I think Return is my favorite. And now I'm arguing whether or not I think Revenge is my favorite. I mean, it's hard. So we'll find out at the end. But any other notes on this movie you want to bring up?
None that I got.
Well, here's the obligatory. You can find us on YouTube at Hello Tangent, our Twitter at Hello Tangent. You can find me on Twitch all the time, streaming at Hello_Tangent, twitch.tv, Hello_Tangent. I do that pretty much a few times a week. Been doing Halo par runs to get ready for the next series, which we're going to be doing Halo. I got my Halo encyclopedia down there, which you'll be on for some of those, and we'll have some new guests coming on. Kyle. In particular is. I got a lot of people bothering me about hurrying up to like Joey wants to be on it.
Does he?
Oh yeah.
Oh, okay, sweet.
He wants me to get like a big round table and us all do it.
I'm sweet with that. That's awesome.
So I could knock Halo out in 2 episodes instead of having to do it in 4 or whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm looking forward to doing that, and we haven't made an official announcement, so I guess this will serve as the official announcement that Halo will be the next series we'll be getting into. I've still got 4 more movies to cover.
Which ones? You got?
We've got Force Awakens, A New Hope, Solo, and The Rise of Skywalker. I've got Dennis coming on to do Rise of Skywalker, and I know Kat will be coming on to do Force Awakens. So that leaves A New Hope and Solo. So if you want one of those, you're welcome.
I'll take Solo.
You'll take Solo. All right. So Solo it is.
Yep.
All right. Well, we're going to wrap it up there. Thank you so much for joining. And please check out all of our social medias. We even have a Facebook page. All of it's Hello Tangent. You can find me at RevSnakebite. And once again, I will be Twitch streaming, usually on Sundays and Wednesdays. Sometimes I throw in a day or 2 extra. But thanks for joining us, and we will be back in a week. Thank you. Bye.
How long was that?
That was an hour and 46 minutes.
Jeez.
Good job.
Is that